Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you your daily Tesla report for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. Once again, I do not show the buy signal that occurred a couple of weeks ago, week and a half ago. It was above 295 roughly that we then anticipated the 351.39 to 359.27 region. 359.27 is dropping daily, was in the mid 360s just a few days ago. And the two combined form a range of resistance that may well contain buying through the month of June, possibly longer. We can fall away from here. In fact, I hold 288.69 as a 2 to 3 week downside target now. So you may be short. That is the recommended position, so long as we do not close above 359.27. And I'm talking to you 2 to 3 week swing traders anticipating 288.69 over that time horizon. On the way down, we do have 312.36. I don't expect to see this today. There is a soft downside pivot point at 334.71 that we did slip below on Monday, certainly did not close below it. I think if we close below 334.71 today, we should see the 312.36 rising channel bottom within just a few days, certainly by Friday's close. 312.36 well suited to contain daily selling pressures, and we could perhaps round up from here into, well, at least 334.71 within several days, and quite possibly back into the low 350s. Now, should you go long 3 to 5 day swing traders at 312.36? I think you can do that, yes, but you also need to maintain a pretty tight stop loss, because as a 3 to 5 day swing trader, I don't think you want to ride that all the way down to 288.69 if you bought it at 312.36. So at some point you would need to stop out. Closing below 312.36 does set up 288.69 as the next 3 to 5 day objective, which is a 2 to 3 week target now anyway, following the recent testing of our objective in the 351 handle. 351.39, 351.51. I can show that on the weekly chart here. That is an upside from the December high to the April low, 50% upside retracement. 351.62 was last week's high, so we took that out by just a bit. And 351.51 is a former 2-year channel top that we settled above last November, that then set up the 513.95 year channel top as a likely 3 to 5 month target. 3 to 5 weeks later, we almost reached that point before the blowout top that occurred in December. We collapsed back. We bounced modestly off of this 351.51 channel top before the following week closing below it, which set off another collapse to the April low. So the low 350s, this is a long way for me to say, is still an important area. You can sell it. You certainly want to stop out and even reverse and go long if we close above 359.27. But until then, this is an area to set a short, whether it's for 3 to 5 days down to 312.36, or whether it's 2 to 3 weeks down to 288.69. At 288.69, we can bottom out through June, perhaps. Let me take that back. We can, depends on how soon we reach 288.69. For instance, if we happen to break, where is the level? Right here. If we happen to close today below 334.71, we just might test 288.69 within like 2 weeks, say by the end of May. And I don't know if we can anticipate or expect 288.69 to contain selling all the way through June. I do see a nice 2 to 3 week pop here, possible back into the low 350s perhaps. Closing below 288.69 is the beginning of a cascade south into the 215 region, 215 to 220 within another 2 to 3 to 5 weeks. And quite possibly, if we close below 288.69, we could unwind all the way back to long-term support that we find on the weekly chart in the 158.13 to 164.26 area. And so that 288.69 is right about here on the chart. And if we close below it over the next few weeks, I do think within several months, we could fall all the way south to 158.13, 5-year channel support, where we could bottom out into possibly through all of 2026. Let's go back. Oops, where are you? Yes, let's go back to this image here, 351.39 to 359.27. They narrow into a single point over the next full week of activity. And I don't see it today, but it is certainly possible that over the next week or so, we close above 359.27. And if you are short now or you're short then, that is your indication to get out. At least get out of a long position, cover a long position. A short position. If we close above 359.27, you want to exit your short, enter a long position, and then within a matter of, and I'm looking for the right chart here, here it is, within a matter of, at this point in time, it could be within 3 to 5 days that we would reach 383.76. That is a 5/8 upside Fibonacci. But if we close any week above the 359.27 speed line, that would obviously also be above the 351.39 and 351.51 area on the weekly chart. I would then resume the 513.90 5-year channel top as a realistic by the end of the year objective, maybe a 3 to 5 month target following a settlement above, let's just call it the 350s. Right now, it's 359.27. And it will over the next week converge with the 351 handle. So, I think the only position you really can be in right now is short following the testing of that 351.39 area. And if you've yet to go short, just know that closing today below 334.71 is a 3 to 5 day swing trade to 312.36. So that could be a decent short play into later week if we close today below 334.71. Until then, this market can retest the low 350s or the 350s in general, 359.27, 351.39 coming together here over the next full week. And if you're a 2 to 3 week swing trader, you're short now, presumably anticipating 288.69 as a 2 to 3 week target. We're just a couple of days into that. 288.69, well suited to contain selling, let's just say into June activity. And from there, we could round back up into the 350s. We could fill this wedge out actually for the next 2 to 3 weeks before the market presumably tips its hand in one direction or the other. And if above 359.27, it is bullish into later year. If below 288.69, it is bearish into later June only. I would expect 215, 220 within 2 to 3 weeks. There is the possibility, of course, of falling all the way south to 158.13, but I wouldn't see that as a clear-cut a target unless we close below the series of lows here, beginning in early March and ending in really the middle of April. And I'll cover this in greater detail at that time, but we're just a long way from 288.69 to begin with. I recognize that this is a little bit different than the tune I was establishing just a week ago, wherein closing below 288.69 would indicate the upper 150s within a couple of months. And I just see it more stair-step now, that it is a sequence of sell signals that it can occur, 2 of them actually. The first being below 288.69, the second being below roughly 215. It is that final one below 215 that would clarify 158.13 to 164.24 as the next 3 to 5 week objective. I think that pretty much covers it. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. We offer 2 stock picks every week. We're offering one today, Tuesday. In the last couple of weeks, Lockheed Martin, EQT, Wingstop, Dutch Brothers. I could go on. We offer 2 a week, always looking for a 20% move on that underlying stock pick. We will not present a stock pick unless we're confident that the signal will elicit a 20% move at least. So that's one of our criteria. Anything else? Yeah. With that, you get a daily triple Q and daily SPY analysis, weekly Apple stock analysis. And you can see it all for free by going to wickedstocks.com and taking advantage of that 5-day free trial. I'll be back tomorrow with Wednesday's Tesla, and you have a great day.